The opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
And hello everyone, and welcome to this episode of Scarefest Radio. Our original broadcast date is August 24th, 2018. Less than a month, people. It's like 3 weeks away. The Scarefest, Lexington, Kentucky, September 14th through the 16th is just right around the corner. And believe me, if you had seen my inbox today, you would know that it is right around the corner. Now, today's little story that I will be telling is actually going to be part of today's show because, yes, we do have on Skype, on video with me, is Mr. Chip Coffey.
Hi, everybody.
Now, of course, everybody, if you were in doubt, Chip Coffey is the worst kept secret in the annals of Paracons anywhere. That's we're going to tell you what happened this week, everybody. Okay.
I'm innocent.
Now, here's the logic that Chip has shared with me, everyone. Chip says that he did not go ahead and put that he was going to be at Scarefest on social media. To him, that's keeping a secret, despite the fact that he actually posted it on his website. Is your traffic that low on the website, Chip?
I plead the fifth.
I mean, you know, I'm available as a webmaster if you need somebody to spruce the place up. You know, just throwing that out there for you. Okay.
I just, there was no collusion.
There was none. Okay, I got you. Now, the interesting part of this,
I'm making Scarefest great again.
The best part of this story, everyone, if you were watching, okay, that the other day a person said, "Is Chip Coffey coming?" And now here, Chip, now this is where me and Amber come into the story. We had, to put it delicately, we had no fucking clue, okay? Because we knew you were booked elsewhere. That of all the people that they ask about, are there so and so coming to Scarefest this year? You were one of like 3 people that we would actually say no, because we knew you had a conflict. Everybody else, we just, you know, we string them along and, you know, and hope that they buy tickets and then say, nah, you know, they're not coming. But so we both stick our necks out and go, no, Chip's not coming. And then they said, well, it's on Chip's website. And then we look, and then we get on it with Layla. And Layla says, well, you know, you're supposed to just tell people, we'll wait for the announcements. And so, well, we normally do. But, so, now, fast forward. And I understand that this person has actually been inboxing Mr. Coffey also. Today, one of our nice people in the Facebook fan group went into this tirade about how he was not happy. I'm not going to use his exact language. He was not happy with who Scarefest was having this year. Everyone, the person that posted in the group today, I have on my phone 2 or 3 days ago inboxing me, telling me how excited they are that Chip Coffey is coming to the Scarefest so that they can get his autograph on a scarf. What are you going to do with these people, Chip?
Can't live with them, can't kill them, and not go to prison.
Oh, and now you being a psychic, you should have seen this coming.
Do you know how many times I hear that shit?
I'm guessing 4 or 5 a day on average.
I wish that was the way it worked. If that was the way it worked, if I knew everything, I would be living in a much nicer house, driving a much nicer car. I'd be rolling around in money and prostitutes, you know?
It's, everyone, you can go back through the Paranormal Filler archives. It's called the chaos theory. You cannot predict the future because it has not happened yet. And if he was to predict the future, then it would make you lazy and you would do something to screw it up. It's just like if you say, okay, you're going to win the lottery. Oh, good. Well, I don't guess I need to buy a ticket then. You know, it's the theory, the chaos theory. The universe is chaos.
But some things that are predicted do come true. We have to take that out.
Well, yeah, but when a psychic makes a prediction, I hope you'll agree with me, they're predicting a likelihood.
Yes, I would say that I sometimes describe it as a possibility or a probability. You know, and what is the possibility? You know, it's kind of like Vegas odds. What are the odds that this is going to happen? Because, as you said, free will and ego can certainly play a huge part in whether or not something is going to come to pass.
Mm-hmm. So there, everybody. See, Chip agrees. I'm relatively intelligent. So we have that. Anyway, everybody. We're gonna go ahead and attack the elephant in the room. Yes, it is official. Chip Coffey is appearing at Scarefest 11, Scarefest Rebirth, Scarefest 2018. And yes,
how many times have I been there?
I'm assuming 11.
11.
I've
been there since I was 9 years old.
Now, and once again, you become a fiction. The only reason, everybody, that he wasn't booked originally is because of the stupid convention center doing their renovations and telling everybody, no, you can't. We're doing that then, so you have to move your dates up. That's what everybody. Why'd you move the convention? We had to change the dates on the convention, and in the process of doing so, it stepped on dates that he had already agreed to with the convention that I understand that is not even going to happen now.
Right. I had already committed to going to another event in Canada, and within the past few days, that event has, according to what I know, is not going to happen. So I love coming to Scarefest, and I was feeling really bad that I wasn't going to be able to come to Scarefest because I have a huge history, 10 years of coming to Scarefest, and I'm not going to be there for the 11th time. And I was sad that the event in Canada canceled, but I was very happy when I made the phone call to the powers that be at Scarefest and was told, we'd love to have you come to the event. And I've already started making plans. I've already booked my rental car. I've already got my folks that are going to come with me to help me out at my booth that usually come with me. So everything's working out really, really nicely.
Well, that's great. It's great to have you back. Like you said, you are you're one of those people that if you work there, I guarantee you, even if they didn't pay attention ahead of time, people would walk in and go, wait, where's Chip Coffey? It's that kind of thing. I'm really surprised and Kate.
I'm very grateful for that. I've kind of become one of the mainstays at what goes on at Scarefest, and there's some comfort, maybe that's the word, in having a few people that are kind of like the cornerstones of what's gone on at the event. And I feel really good every time I come to the event. It's just a very well organized, very well run event, and I've made a lot of friends in Lexington, and it's wonderful to come back, not only and see my friends that live there, but also to welcome the fans that come to Scarefest and meet them as well.
And it's well, I mean, it's fairly obvious the fans love you. Now I tell you what, let's go into that. how are you still best known? Despite I pulled up your IMDb. You've stayed busy over the years. You've done lots of things, but how does it feel to still be best known for damn near the first thing you ever did as far as in the paranormal genre, which was Psychic Kids?
Well, I think I'm pretty well known for Paranormal State and Psychic Kids, and
yes,
it's an indication that I think with the Psychic Kids thing in particular, and a lot of people still talk about that show, even though it's been out of production for several years. But honestly, I'll tell you, it's a testament to the good work that we did. And I will never, I'm not even sure what word I want to use. I will never try to talk about that or talk down about that or try to ignore that or not encourage people to remember that show, because I really am proud of what we did on that show, and it made I think it's had a lasting effect on paranormal television.
I think it has too, and to tell you the truth, when you get into these discussions with people, with the fans in particular, about what shows do you wish they would reboot, that is probably at the top of the list. I mean, Ghost Hunters had its run. Paranormal State had its run. The field has changed. But what you all were doing on that show felt more genuine, and it felt more personal to people, I think.
Well, and one of the things that we did on that show, it was, Paranormal State was a show about helping people. And that sort of was a springboard for me doing Psychic Kids. And that was the whole goal, was to make things better for the parents and the kids that were involved with the show. And I too felt like there was much more that could have been done. And I was sad when the show was no longer renewed by the network. But, I had no power over that. They're the ones that supply the money for the production company and the folks to be able to do the show. And they just weren't willing to do that anymore. I miss the show. I miss the fact that the show did good work. But, I'm heartened by the fact that it started people talking and it made people aware. And because I felt kind of incomplete when the show ended, it was a reason why I wrote my book called Growing Up Psychic. And it's kind of an autobiography of the things that I went through, as well as a good how-to book for anyone who's helping to raise a psychic kid or a part of a psychic kid's life. So some really good things came out of that show, and as long as I live, I will continue to be proud of the fact that we did something that I think in a way it changed the course of things for psychic kids.
And the other thing on Psychic Kids, now this is where I'm surprised that network or another network hasn't rented the rights. But with the success of Amy Allen's Dead Files Revisited, and even Zach Bagans when he did when he went back to places that he'd been and kind of followed up on the stories, that to me, that series more than any begs for that follow-up. Okay, you all help these small children, mostly small, some were teenagers, but how did, once they turned 18 and got out in the real world, if you will, how have they progressed? Do you still keep in touch with any of the kids that you dealt with on that show?
There were about 60 kids and families that we actually worked with on the show. So staying in touch with all of them would be kind of a difficult process, but some of them I do. There's a handful of kids that I stay in touch with. And here's a little preview for your audience that I really haven't talked about much publicly. I'm doing a show with Nick Groff and Elizabeth Saint on their online platform called VidiSpace. And my show that I'm doing with them is called Paranormal Pajama Party with Chip Coffey. So in Paranormal Pajama Party with Chip Coffey, I get people that I know that are in the entertainment industry or the paranormal industry or whatever, some very well-known celebrities get into their pajamas and get into bed with me, and we talk about them and their careers and what they're passionate about, but we also talk about things that are spiritual and paranormal. And in answer to your question, the network really wasn't interested in revisiting Psychic Kids, even from a reunion or a where are they now sort of scenario. So I thought, well, if they're not going to do it, I really can't afford to fly in all the kids that I would want to fly in, but I flew in 2 of the kids that I do stay in touch with, 2 little girls from the show who now are grown-up adult young ladies, and we did a reunion episode with the 2 of them, and it's heartwarming and it's enlightening, and it will show you that their lives have gone very differently, but successful and working incredibly well for each of them individually. I'm not going to say a whole lot more, but it's 2 of the little girls who've grown up that the audience will undoubtedly, if they watch the show, they'll immediately recognize them from the show.
Everybody, we're going to take our first commercial break. We'll be right back with more with Chip Coffey. You're watching Scarefest Radio. Do you feel lost in life? Do you seem to be stuck in emotions that are not yours? Is your home not the sanctuary it should be? Contact Spirit Mechanics, where they take a team approach to your metaphysical and spiritual problems. Spirit Mechanics specializes in aura cleansing, stone attunement, attachment removal, and house cleansings. Spirit Mechanics tailors their approach to your individual spiritual path and needs. Find them every month at Lexington, Kentucky's Mystical Fair, mysticalfairlex.com, or on Facebook by searching Spirit Mechanics, that's MECHANIX. Spirit Mechanics, for your spiritual health and well-being. And welcome back to Scarefest Radio. Everybody, what we're going to do, we're going to go... Okay, first of all, let's get them announcement. First announcement. It's official now. Here's the banner. Mr. Chip Coffey is, in fact, coming to the Scarefest. Our wonderful, talented graphics person, me, did that. So we got that going. Now, back to me, because I don't have graphics for the rest of this. Actually, I did have for this. I don't know why I didn't load it. Now, here is, I do want to announce, Daryl Bausman, the director from the Saw movie franchise. Okay, apparently there's not enough buzz about the Saw movie franchise coming to the Scarefest. So he is bringing the original Billy doll puppet thing. He will have it at his booth, and you will be able to take pictures with it. So the original Billy from the Saw movies will be at Daryl Bausman's booth at the Scarefest. Now, the other one is a downer, everybody. We had Adrian Barbeau, we got word this week, had to cancel. So I wanted to throw that out there. We went ahead. It's already been on Facebook. We've already updated the website. But I just wanted to throw that out there in case you hadn't caught it on social media. Adrian Barbeau, who was my late 70s wet dream, if you will, she is not going to be there. So we wish her all the luck in the world and can't wait to have her back. So now we're going to go back to Chip now. Now, I do want to talk to Chip a little bit about with no spoilers or anything, but the Chip Coffey's Pajama Party coming up on the VidiSpace Network. Incidentally, VidiSpace should pay me extra money because they come up so often. Scarefest is like VidiSpace Central. You got Ken Boggle, you got me. They just did a thing with Cody Chris Sutton, who is one of my regular co-hosts here on the show. They did a shaman show. I'm thinking of a better word for it, but because my vocabulary is limited, I won't bother. And then of course we're all. I'm tight with Elizabeth. Chip, I've never gotten tight with Nick. Nick is just too hard to tie down.
They have got more irons in the fire than any other people I know. I mean, they're working with so many different productions, and they've got, Nick has got Paranormal Lockdown, and he's been in Europe. They've been filming in Europe and, traveling all around the country. They're here at this event. I'm at an event in Michigan right now, and the people that are here are kind of like a who's who of the paranormal, very similar to Scarefest. A lot of very well-known people. And, Nick and Elizabeth are here, and I just don't know how they're doing it and still, walking upright. It's just, they have more energy and more stamina than anyone I know. So don't feel bad about not knowing Nick real well, because at this point in time, he is inundated with stuff.
Oh, he's always been inundated with stuff. I mean, it's always, when he was off the air, he stayed busy. So I don't have any problem with that. I wanted to get him on the show. And I've talked to him, and I actually did have him on Paranormal Filler as just one of those things. It was basically promoting Ghost of Shepherdstown. But I want to sit down with the guy and actually talk paranormal theory. I like talking paranormal theory with people that have been in it as long as he has in the field and is immersed in the field, more to the point.
Right.
All of that group, it's one thing to go ghost hunting people, but when, and a lot of people try to say, it's just a TV show. It might just be a TV show or TV shows, but the people that are doing this, they are almost invariably the paranormal celebrities, like them or love them. They're more serious about the actual paranormal field than their TV show would ever let you know. Would you agree with that?
I would agree that most of the people I know are very passionate about the field, and I think a lot of that has to do, a lot of the television stuff has to do with how well versed the production company and the producers of the show are with the paranormal. If you've got a production company or a producer who doesn't understand the paranormal and the spiritual, then I don't think you're going to get a fully accurate presentation or look at what the paranormal is really all about. I think they just don't understand it completely.
Oh, absolutely not. Now, a question from the chat room, of course, which I actually did mean to ask you even before now. Now, do we have a launch date for Pajama Party?
We don't yet. It's in edits right now, and I saw actually a couple of clips from it. Nick and Elizabeth showed me a couple of clips from it this week, and we've got this amazingly cute little animation of me dancing around to the jingle that's sung by some friends of mine. And at the end of it, I hop up in the air and jump into bed, land back in bed, and there's caricatures drawn of all my guests in the first season. So it's like a Chip's pajama party orgy, paranormal orgy in the bed. So it's really cute. It's very cute.
Yeah, of course, now I'm just disappointed that you're not doing this live, of course, because see, I have this ingrained thing. I have to do everything live. The show I do for them, I do live. I do Scarefest Radio live. I like living that razor's edge.
I've done a live show, and it's a little too intense for me most of the time. Radio is fine. I'm good with doing live radio, but live television is tricky. I mean, there's almost like too many variables and too many things that can go amiss.
Oh yeah.
So I kind of, I had my days of back in the good old days when I was doing acting work. Some of the shows that I did were live to tape, and that they were pretty intense because you don't have a take two.
Now the problem,
and there's no editing. You're just if you don't get it, you're screwed.
Absolutely. Now the problem that they ran into, of course, when they started the network, they were hoping to do a whole lot of live stuff, in particular ghost hunts, and
yes.
Which I knew right up front. To me, okay, there's nothing more boring than a live ghost hunt. I'm sorry. Out of an entire night, you've got like 3 minutes of really good stuff. But the other thing, and this is what I tried to warn them about, the technology is ready. The infrastructure is not for doing these live shoots, because when you did the Exorcist house thing live, I'm betting you all had satellite trucks and like a team to make sure that all the video feeds were brought in at the right time and sent to the network to redistribute. In other words, you all had a van, didn't you? Admit it. You all had a van.
It took over. I mean, the network, basically, the show that we were doing basically took over the entire neighborhood. There were tons of trailers and banks of video cameras, and I mean, it was a lot of stuff there. They spent some big bucks on that live broadcast.
And that was it was 1 hour, wasn't it?
No, actually, it was 2. I think
2. Okay, maybe it was 2.
Yeah.
But all that for 2 hours, and then you've got these ghost hunters on a realistic budget. Incidentally, I mean, people that have day jobs going out trying to do this stuff, basically over their cell phones. And it's not that the intent, it's not that the content's not there, but the internet is not ready for it. That's just what I've been trying to tell everybody. So but now that they've kind of changed their focus, they're trying to do very realistic shows. But the important thing is, for the most part, the people you see on VideoSpace have that creative control. Like you were talking about, Chip, with the producers. You had to count on what the producer's vision was anytime you did something. And so that's going to be the magic of VideoSpace, is you're going to see, even though these are going to be produced shows to a great deal, you're going to see the vision of the ghost hunting team of whoever. So everybody, that's www.vidi.space or thehaunted.space, or I'm even trying to get Scarefest Radio on their horror space. They've got a little horror channel they're setting up. So I've been talking to them about that.
I know that with Nick and Elizabeth, they gave me a lot of autonomy on what I wanted to do with Pajama Party. They allowed me pretty much to pick the guests that I wanted to have. There was not a no that was given to me when I wanted to bring somebody on. They sort of trusted who I picked, and I picked people from a lot of different time periods and time frames and different genres of things. But the whole recurring theme is that they've all either had their own paranormal experience, or they got a reading from me of some sort during the episode. So Nick and Elizabeth were really great to work with. There hasn't, and I'm surprised about this, there hasn't been a glitch, and it was kind of fun to be an executive producer on my own show and not really have to play Mother May I to network executives or producers, production company.
Well, see, now it wouldn't even have crossed my mind that they would try to have any creative control over who your guests were, because the show I'm doing for them, I've literally told them the more batshit crazy guests that I can find, that's what I'm going for. So far, most of my guests, all but one actually, have been absolutely down to earth, smart people. So, and I'll let that. Now you can go subscribe and go through my shows and figure out who I think was batshit crazy. Now, let's see. We're at the half-hour mark. We're going to do our next commercial break. Everybody, you're watching Scarefest Radio. We'll be right back with another announcement.
Coyote Chris Sutton.
Shamanism.
Spiritual advisement.
Paranormal investigations.
Inspirational presentations.
Bringing light to the darkest places for over 20 years. Go to coyotechris.com to learn more. Let's talk about back to school for a moment. Now, you've got Junior his new pants.
but he's wearing them down around the crack of his butt. Now, before you go off the deep end, did you happen to think that maybe he needs a belt that fits? Visit GoneOffTopic.com, scroll to the bottom of the front page, and there you will find my own personalized, handmade Kentucky belts. Belts are made by KYHorse.com. And welcome back, everybody, to Scarefest Radio. Of course, we're talking to Chip Coffey tonight. Now, we do have I do have an announcement here for you. I'm deciding whether or not to classify this as a horror a horror announcement or a paranormal announcement. Horror. I have that bad Kentucky accent on that. Yes, I said horror. And our next announcement. It's one of those awkward words here in Kentucky that you just never know which way it's going to go. Everybody in the paranormal field knows this guy, Chris Maggard. Chris Maggard is coming. He has been filming documentaries in the paranormal and filming for teams and doing stuff in the paranormal realm for just like, well, he's been in it longer than I have. I'll just throw that out there. Chris Maggard, now he has shot a new movie, feature-length film called Rosalie. I do not have a trailer right now, but Chris Maggard is coming, and I do have some more announcements tied to that, but until the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed and Layla gets the wad of her panties out of her butt, she won't let me announce everything that I want to about that particular project. But anyway,
I have a feeling Layla's going to chop your gonads off.
I have a funny feeling Layla hasn't listened to this show all damn year. I'm just going to tell you. Now, of course, Chip will probably tell on me, but that's all right. Anyway, so Chris Maggard is coming. That's my announcement for this segment. Now, Chip, I wish I had seen this sooner because I would have searched high and low to find the episode of Drunk History that you were on. I had no idea. Is that really what the show... I've seen the show. Do they really get you soused and then ask you to tell us a historic story?
I wasn't the one who got drunk.
Oh, okay. Well, what were you doing then?
Get me drunk. You know what they did was they were doing an episode on Philadelphia, on stories connected to Philadelphia, and one of the places that they went was called the Powell House, and it has a connection to George Washington and Benedict Arnold and Benedict Arnold's wife Peggy Shippen and the Marquis de Lafayette and Benjamin Franklin. Did I say Ben Franklin? I didn't say Ben Franklin. So Ben Franklin was there. And George Washington actually danced in the ballroom where I did my gallery reading, so it was really kind of cool. But Derek Waters, the host, and I actually did a little mini investigation of the house, and I was in a little segment with Derek where we went through the house and tried to conjure up the spirit, particularly of Benedict Arnold. And it was kind of funny and comedic, and Derek is an absolutely amazing human being. And just so I can tease a little bit more, he's one of the people that gets in bed with me in Paranormal Pajama Party.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how you talk people into doing that. Oh, well, that's...
Who wouldn't want to get in bed with me? Are you kidding me? Come on.
My mother raised me different. That's it. Don't just go hopping in bed with just the first TV celebrity that asks you to. You got to buy dinner and shit like that.
Well, you know, it's all this charm and charisma that's just, they just can't avoid it. You know, it's the truth.
Now, you've got some appearances like that. Now, outside of the hardcore paranormal state, psychic kids, What I see you've got some movie appearances here. You got some TV appearances. Now I'm talking about from the acting standpoint, or even if you were acting as yourself, because this one you were acting, but you were acting as yourself. What was your favorite? Do you have a favorite that you just had so much fun you wish you could do it again?
You know what's really interesting is I've done a lot of theater, which is stage work, of course. Mm-hmm. And what people don't really know about me, for the most part, is that I've also done a lot of playwriting. I wrote 35 plays, and all of them have been produced. That's back in another lifetime. But as far as on stage, there's a stage show called Camelot, and it's all about King Arthur and Guinevere and Lancelot and the Knights of the Round Table. And I played Arthur's bastard son, Mordred, who is she's evil and wicked and wants to destroy Camelot. And so from a stage perspective, Mordred is my favorite role that I've ever done. And, you know, I started out as one of those damnable child actors and kept going into my teens. And you know, the most recent acting role that I did was in a film called Night Visitor 2, Heather's Story. And I played a character called Daniel, and he was, a psychic medium, so I didn't have to really research a lot to grasp that. But it was a storyline that was dealing with aliens. And that was kind of a different sort of thing for me. And we filmed in California, in Topanga Canyon, and it was a very intense 3-day shoot for me in California. And Daniel's actually one of the principal characters. There's 5 characters, and I think I get third billing in the cast.
On Camelot, do you think you enjoyed that part so much because it was just a fun part to do, or because it was so different from you?
You know, when I was doing theater when I was younger, I was young and thin and blonde and cute back in the day, and I used to get cast against type a lot. They used to, because it was kind of jarring for the audience to see someone who was so nasty come out of this sweet little innocent young thing, I guess. And I enjoyed that, because who doesn't want to play the person that you kind of love to hate? Mordred was one of those characters that was so delicious to play, because people wanted to like Mordred, but he was such an imp that it was hard to like him. I had a lady tell me, she waited outside the stage door one night for me, and she said, I want you to know that you delivered your final speech standing next to me. And if I'd had a gun, I hated you so much at that point in time, if I'd had a gun, I would have shot you. And I thought to myself, okay, glad you weren't hacking. But, you know, it was a big compliment to think that I'd done a good job of being that person that the audience related to and was like, you know, you jerk, I just want to do you in.
That might be the oddest compliment I've ever heard.
It was kind of odd, for sure.
Now, on the movie, Night Visitor 2, Heather's Story, now you mentioned that you're it has more of an alien perspective. What is, as I say, okay, this is something that I was surprised when I got in to the paranormal field and talking to psychics. When I got into the paranormal field, I guess I kind of chopped everything up into little bits. You know, you had your cryptozoology, you had your ufology, you had your aliens in that category, you had your ghosts and demons and all over here. But I talked to a lot of psychics that are, we'll say, deep into the alien phenomenon. What is your take on UFOs and aliens personally, Chip?
I fully believe that it's kind of egotistical of human beings to think that we're the only life forms in the vastness of the universe. That being said, I know what a demon is, or I believe I do, and I kind of know what a ghost is. It's the essence that's left once the soul leaves the body. You know, there are things I can't really wrap my head around completely, my brain around completely, such as some of the cryptozoological stuff. I don't know that I can wrap my brain around some of the elemental stuff like fairies and gnomes and elves and those sort of things. I don't really have an opinion about my belief system about that because it doesn't necessarily embrace or not embrace those. Aliens scare the F out of me because I don't know what they are. You know, people are like, oh, some of them are very friendly and some of them are not. I don't know. So it's one of those things that they may come to Earth and go, oh, look at him. He looks tasty. Or they may come and go, oh, we want to take you up to the mothership and stick needles in your eyes and prods up your poop chute. I don't know. Whatever. I don't want to go there with them. So if there's any aliens watching or listening in tonight, piss off because I don't want any part of you. That's sort of my theory on aliens. If they're, like I said, if you're out there, just kind of ignore the fact that I exist in the world.
Now, I will say, the surprising part of what you just said, knowing the crowd that you hang with, that you don't have a strong opinion on gnomes and fairies and such.
Well, I've known a few fairies in my lifetime, but, of a different sort. Gnomes, I've known some little people, but not gnomes.
Elementals! Just use the word elementals and answer my question, Chip.
I don't have an opinion. I know some people do, but I've never seen one, I don't think. Some people say that they have. So I'm one of those people that until I fully experience something, I don't know that I can wrap my brain around it or have an intelligent opinion and I don't know what my belief is. I'm not going to say they don't exist, but I'm not going to say I necessarily believe that they do. So I don't know. I think I don't know is a valid answer to almost any question in the paranormal or spiritual arena.
But you're Chip Coffey. We expect so much more.
Sorry to let you bitches down, but that's just the way it is.
Oh, well. Now, this might even be too early to talk about, but the question did come from the chat room, so I got to throw it out there. Okay. Are you going to get to do any of your, because you've scheduled Scarefest so late, are you going to get to do any of your normal stuff? Have they talked to you about that yet?
I am not going to, for the first time, I'm not going to do a gallery reading. So that's going to kind of open me up for time to spend at my table. Layla has talked to me about the possibility of, for the first time, doing some live private readings. I almost never do those. I do the vast majority, almost 100% of my readings by phone, private readings by phone for clients. So I haven't really made a decision about whether or not I'm going to do them. It's doubtful. So the normal stuff that I would do, I've done some investigations at Scarefest. Those aren't on the table. Gallery readings, because when I wasn't going to be there, that sort of slot has been filled by another medium, and I certainly don't want to step on those toes. I never would want that to happen. So I think probably you're going to see me sitting at my table a lot, or just hanging around and socializing with the folks that are on the floor at Scarefest.
Now, so that's kind of what I figured, because this last minute stuff, it really, I'll put it this way. Once again, my inbox today, last minute stuff. Now, but knowing that you're not, you probably won't do readings at your table. Now, I do wonder though, are you one of those people? We see it on TV a lot, and I've actually seen several of the celebrity psychics at Scarefest just do it. Every now and then, does somebody walk up to your table and they've just got their grandmother or whoever with them that's just screaming for your attention, and you just go ahead and do it, or you just block that out?
No. When I'm socializing, I'm off the clock. When I'm working and doing readings, I'm focused in on the task at hand. I won't say it never happens, but I rarely get information unbidden unless I'm actually focused in on the task at hand. And I'm not a big fan of what I call ambush readings. It's giving people information that you haven't really asked their permission or they haven't asked you to do that, that almost feels like you're trespassing on their stuff.
I actually agree with that.
I typically don't, you see it happen on television with some of the celebrity psychics doing things like, walking up to people in a coffee shop, or walking up to people in a restaurant or a deli or a grocery store in the mall and going, I have something I'm supposed to tell you. If someone did that to me, I would say, you need to back way the heck off. I just feel like it's like I said, it's like an ambush reading. And I don't do it, and I wouldn't want it done to me. So, I've been asked to do that by certain TV producers or whatever, and I'm like, nope. So the answer to your question, the short answer is no. If someone asks me to tap in, then I'm able to do that. But typically when you're at a table and you're doing signings and things like that, it's fairly quick exchanges with people so that you don't have time. It's kind of not the place to do a reading for the most part. It's a place where people come and say hello to you. They buy your merchandise. They glad hand you for a while, and you say hello and sign an autograph, take a picture. And that's kind of like what the whole idea of going to a convention and encountering people on the floor is all about.
I fully agree with you on the ambush readings. It makes for good TV, but I don't think it makes for good life. But to follow up on that question, so do you shut it down? Does it shut down normally for you, or you just ignore it? I'm just picturing the whole. Now this is a caricature, but grandma's go swinging her cane behind somebody trying to get your attention. So I mean, is that something you block out on purpose? Do you shut it down? How do you block the funky energy that walks through a place like Scarefest, I guess is the question.
With me, like I said, it's a matter of focus. And I learned early on, I think everyone has to figure out how to sort of block it or censor it, or whatever word you want to use. There's not really a prescriptive method on how to do that. Mine is I've talked to my spirit partners and kind of asked them to stand sentinel around the incoming information. I don't want to be Whoopi Goldberg and Ghost with Patrick Swayze, bless his heart, sending me, trying to get through to me at 2 and 3 in the morning. I don't want to be walking through Walmart and having 15 people walk up to me and say, oh, there's my granddaughter, say hello for me. Say hello yourself, I'm off the clock, for Christ's sake. So it's a matter of focus for me. Most people have jobs. This is my job. And if I'm not clocked in, or if I'm not working at that point in time, I don't want to think about my work. I don't want to be working when I'm trying to just live my life and enjoy my third dimension experience.
Everybody, we're going to take a little break now. This isn't technically a commercial break. We're going to play a trailer for you for my next announcement that has to do with the Scarefest. We'll be right back. It's quiet.
She told me everything. I didn't listen. There's this ache, hunger, I don't know what to call it. Like something's clawing its way into my brain. Not yourself.
Everybody, welcome back to Scarefest Radio. We're closing out our interview with Chip Coffey. Here's a couple things going on at the Scarefest that I want to go on and get in for you. Wretch, the movie trailer we just saw. That's just a teaser trailer. The official trailer is not even ready yet. But the Wretch world premiere will be Thursday night, you can go to it's at the Kentucky Theater. Go to thescarefest.com. There's a rich page, if you will, on the event page or in the event menu. But you can go ahead and pre-purchase your tickets if you want to go to the world premiere of Wretch. And then finally, I want to remind everybody, this is kind of a follow-up. Exit to Hell. Everybody knows we're doing the Exit to Hell reunion with the lovely and talented Tiffany Shepis. Oh my God, I love that woman. Anyway, that being said, and Kane Hodder too. Yeah, he's in the movie too. Exit to Hell. Friday, that will be the midnight movie at the Kentucky Theater. So Exit to Hell will be showing Friday at the Kentucky Theater, and yes, some of the cast and crew will be there for Q&A. We'll see exactly. We don't have it officially contracted who gets to go down there, but I did want to throw that in there that if you're planning your weekend, Exit to Hell will be the Friday midnight movie, and even if you don't come to the Scarefest, you can go to the midnight movie, and you can go to the Wretch world premiere. Don't forget, everybody, photo ops have started. We've got some photo ops online. We've got the Tobin Bell line skip fast pass, whatever the hell it's called, so we can get a selfie and an autograph. That stuff is already on sale. A lot more stuff. Based on my email inbox today, shit's going down. Finally, back to Mr. Chip Coffey. Chip, okay, you're at Michigan Paracon. It's a little late to plug that. Anything else on the agenda that you want to let us know before we let you go?
Well, one of the things that I haven't really talked about a lot on social media or announced on my my own website is the fact that I am going to be on an episode of Josh Gates' Expedition Unknown before the end of the year. I filmed a segment a few months ago with Josh and went out and did some additional filming for his after show last week in LA. And I did a sizzle reel while I was out there with James Van Prague and another person whose name is Sandy Moore. She owns a huge metaphysical facility, spiritual facility in Orange County in California. So I did a sizzle reel that may or may not go someplace. And you might see me turn up on a couple of other things. There's been a couple of offers for some guest spots on other paranormal shows. So there's still some life in this old soul right here. So hopefully, you'll see me around.
And Down to Dollar says Elizabeth tells me to have you as a guest on Gone Off Topic on the network. Every time they bring in a new show, I'm the guy that they say, hey, interview him, because I'm a company man, Chip. I'm a company man. I do what the bosses tell me. Everybody, this has been Scarefest Radio. Once again, Daryl Bausman will have the original Billy from the Saw movie franchise at his booth for your selfie pleasure. Chip Coffey is coming to the Scarefest. And Chris Maggard, well known in the paranormal field, making his transition into the horror field. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.